the Kremlin's demilitarization of Ukraine has not gone according to plan. In 17 months of full-scale war, the Ukrainian armed forces have increased the number of tanks and artillery several times over. The number of missiles and shells has grown by dozens of times, and the number of drones has increased by hundreds of times. But even this is not the limit. Alongside the increased production of its own weapons, many Western companies are ready to open up military factories in Ukraine. Which ones? We'll tell you now. One of the main defense concerns in Europe, a supplier of armored vehicles worldwide and a manufacturer of tanks for NATO countries, is the German company Rheinmetall. And it is this company that has announced the construction of its own factory on Ukrainian territory without waiting for the war to end.
Well, this is a very well-known company. It has a lot of assets, and they are also interested in the defense sector. They are the manufacturers of the famous Leopard tank. They are generally interested in working in defense because in Germany the market is limited. They have more than just these projects. I can't talk about it yet, but the level of interest is very high.
One of the projects that can be discussed here is the intention to assemble the newest highly advanced Kf-51 Panther tanks in Ukraine. At the company itself, it is referred to as the direct successor to the well-known Leopard 2. The tank is armed with a powerful, advanced 130mm cannon capable of firing, among other things, kinetic energy rounds and programmable airburst munitions for enhanced battlefield effectiveness. There is also a 12.7mm coaxial machine gun mounted on the turret. In addition, the Neta combat module is installed, and it is possible to further equip it with a launcher for loitering munitions. The tank has a high survivability coefficient and features active, reactive, and passive protection technologies. Drones for reconnaissance are integrated into the hull, along with displays for all-around visibility in any weather and at any time of day. Fully remote-controlled tank modifications are also being developed. The prospects for creating this and other equipment in Ukraine were immediately assessed in Moscow. Maria Zakharova was the first to speak.
Such a plant, if it is indeed built, will become a legitimate target for the Russian armed forces.
No one expected any other reaction. A little later, another mouthpiece of today's Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, recovered from the shock. And on the hated Western messenger, he also promised to destroy everything.
The announcement about Rheinmetall building a tank plant really does sound indeed like primitive trolling by the Kiev regime. If the Krauts actually decide to build it for real, though they seem like pragmatic people, we're looking forward to it. The event will be duly marked with a salute of calibers and other pyrotechnic devices.
These threats reached the management of the company, but they failed to scare their Western partners. Rheinmetall CEO Armin Paperger, Ami, stated that he would not change the plans and that the construction, and subsequent operation of the plant would be protected by Skynex air defense systems, produced by their own company. Another major military plant on the territory of Ukraine will be the Baykar drone manufacturing facility. The corresponding agreement was signed between Presidents Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Volodymyr Zelensky during his visit to Turkey.
This concerns cooperation in the military-industrial complex, in the development of technologies, in the production of drones, and in other strategic sectors.
It is known that at least 2 types of drones are planned for production. These are the Bayraktar TB2, a model already actively used by Ukraine's defense forces, and the new product from the Turkish defense industry, the Bayraktar Akıncı. The latter is even specifically equipped with a Ukrainian engine, so naturally assembling the drone here, as you can see, is more than logical.
That's why construction work has already begun at the plant, and the factory is actually being built now, not just talked about in memorandums. But the memorandum also mentions another type of production, which I can't talk about yet.
The Baltic countries have also recently decided to actively compete for advanced drone production, specifically in the field of Ukraine. The Latvian company Atlas Aerospace has announced the establishment of its own plant here for research, development, and assembly of UAVs. For almost a year, this company has been supplying our military with Atlas Pro drones. Now, the company's management has decided to provide the armed forces with these drones even faster and is planning to open production here. In addition, Atlas has announced that they will expand their product range. The development of more compact models, the Atlas Mini and Atlas Micro, is already nearing completion. The new models will be significantly smaller than the current Atlas Pro. The Mini model is promised to weigh no more than 1 kilogram, while the Micro will be around 300 grams. With these pocket-sized drones, our frontline units will be able to gather intelligence more efficiently and, most importantly, several times faster during assaults. Another major industrial military giant, the British company BAE Systems, is expected to enter Ukraine. I spoke with representatives of the company, the powerful British defense company BAE Systems. This is truly a large-scale weapons manufacturer, producing the kind of weapons we need today and will continue to need in the future to guarantee the security of our country and the entire region. We are working on creating an appropriate base in Ukraine for production and repair. We're talking about a wide range of weaponry, from tanks to artillery. The company manufactures airplanes, tanks, armored personnel carriers, cannons, shells, and much more. It is BAE Systems that manufactures Typhoon fighter jets, Challenger 2 tanks, M113 armored personnel carriers, Bradley and CV-90 infantry fighting vehicles, Archer and M737 artillery systems. In short, most of the equipment that Ukrainians are already successfully using to drive the occupiers from their land. Moreover, all these companies will not only produce their products in Ukraine, but will also serve as the foundation for repair bases for Western equipment operating at the front. Together with our Ukroboronprom, foreign companies will become a logical continuation of Ukraine's transition to NATO standards, both in terms of armaments and maintenance. Additionally, a number of countries are currently negotiating the opening of their enterprises in Ukraine. Such countries include, for example, Italy and France, and a number of states will help us improve our military infrastructure. For instance, Canada, will take on the task of equipping airfields for Western aircraft. In the next episode, we will share even more interesting facts about military equipment and weaponry. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel and show this video. So you don't miss the new episode of Arsenal.